All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Kick-Ass Vidcast. I am Oren, and first, before we start, this is the Raw review that I'm gonna talk about yesterday, and I just want to say thank you guys for checking out my video, and also please, please, please like and subscribe, and tell me what you think, and let's get into this. So, this Raw, ladies and gentlemen, was good. It was a good Raw. But it wasn't one of the best. It wasn't as good as the week before, but it was passable. There were some moments where I was just like, "What? Okay, sure," but I had fun in total. Especially one of the only thing is that one of the moments I was like, "Why would they do this? Put this match here instead of main eventing." So we're gonna talk about that in a second. But let's get down to this. The show started off with Judgment Day coming down. Rhea, Damian, and Finn Balor. You know, they all came down. They started doing their little promos because they're setting up for Monday Night Raw next week in Canada. Apparently, Edge hasn't wrestled on Raw in a long time, so he's getting ready to wrestle in his country. So against Damian Priest, and they're making the promos, and damn, it was a good promo from all three of them. I enjoyed it. Finn Balor, I can barely understand him. His accent is super thick, and so is Rhea's. But Damien, Damien has got it on lock. He's great on the mic, so I'm super excited to see that match against them both. And then also at the same time, while that was happening, Ray came out from behind them and started attacking them with the chair. And while he was doing that, Rhea Ripley was there edging him on to hit her. And it was super weird. I didn't know what to feel. I mean, I was thinking, Ray, I mean, should you hit her? Shouldn't you? I mean, she's been nothing but a bitch most of the time. I mean, I don't know. That's open to you guys, but he didn't want to hit her because he's the face. He's a good guy. So it was too much, and then Finn Balor got from behind, and they started beating the shit out of him. And then he got on the top rope to do the coup de grace with the same chair that Ray brought in, and they did my man dirty. Like they messed him up, and damn, they just I understand you feel sympathy for Ray because he's like one of the favorites, but yeah, he got a coup de grace with the chair on his stomach, and yeah, he got taken out. So they set that up. The start, it was all right. Like I said, I was kind of fading in and out, honestly. And then the next segment that happened was a match, basically the opening match, Asuka and Alexa Bliss versus Nikki Ash and Doudrop. Man, you talk about those two, Nikki Ash and Doudrop. Whew, man, poorly booked, terribly creative with under the McMahon rule. Was awful with them, especially Nikki Ash. Like I understand the idea of Nikki Ash as the superhero, right, or a vigilante of justice, or whatever the hell that is. It's just that the way she was portrayed before being booked, she would win like cheap, and then she would do like heel stuff, which didn't make any sense. And I hate this stupid acronym, Nikki Ash, almost a superhero. It's like, Jesus Christ, bro. And Doudrop, the same. I mean, Doudrop, Jesus. I hear that Triple H is trying to fix all that, so I'm hoping he gets them on the right track as well. In this match, nothing here that was special to me. It was okay. Asuka, I love Asuka. Alexa Bliss, yeah, sure. But it was for the tag team championship for that tournament, so I knew Alexa Bliss and Asuka was gonna win. So it was an okay match. It was fine, nothing to talk about. So they won. Off to the next one, and then on SmackDown they'll have the other one. So that was an okay match. So yay, meh. The next one we had here was two of my favorite guys, The Miz and Ciampa versus Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander. Now, before this match, they had an interview, The Miz and Ciampa, Now, as I said, I liked them together. They were really good. But this interview was weird. I mean, this convo between them. I think there was some moments in this interview that was scripted, and I wasn't really into it. It's especially I gotta admit this. Like, I love Ciampa. I'm starting to like Miz a lot, but this interview with the whole card with the with the picture of them both like, hey, that was pure cringe, Paul. I mean, I understand. I guess that's what the young kids are, because of Logan Paul with that $8 million Pokemon card or whatever the hell that was. But it just didn't work. I was like, nah, I don't think so. So the interview was, I'm sure they did the best they could with what they had. So, but yeah, Paul, Triple H, not a good move with that card. But after that, they did the match, and the match was fun. Dude, Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander are awesome. Cedric Alexander is really good. Oh man, those two guys, super athletic. And especially, like, they do so many moves, especially with they were at close to the end where basically the Miz was getting him in a schoolboy pin and it looked like he was going to win, and Mustafa Ali from the outside in drop kicked and pushed the Miz down for almost a 3 count. But I pretty much knew that basically the Miz and Ciampa are winning this match. So this match was okay for what it was. Nothing special, nothing out of the ordinary. It was okay. So far, this Raw hasn't was okay. It's like I'm watching these matches and these segments so far because out of respect, and it's something to have on the TV. That's what I was feeling at this moment. Until the next segment, the next kind of match, which was fucking amazing. Okay, fucking amazing. But I think before that they had another segment with Austin Theory and Dolph Ziggler, but I'll talk about that later when the match comes. And this was another weird thing that I don't know, but let's talk about Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens. I love Drew. Drew is, man, he's on a roll. He's going up there, man. He's making his brand 100%. So he goes in there and he starts talking and he does the same thing. I guess that's like one of his catchphrases. He says the city name. He's like, "Let me hear you scream." So everybody was screaming. I mean, he's great face, and he was talking about how he's always there, not compared, to Roman Reigns, who doesn't like. He apparently has a contract where he's part-time now. So whatever. Roman Reigns, yeah. But Drew was telling you how it is. He was going to win the championship, and he's going to show up on Raw, SmackDown, everywhere else. And at the same time, my man Kevin Owens shows up, and whoo, buddy, Kevin Owens, oh man, fucking great on the mic. Holy shit, dude! Like, these two guys. I would watch some of the highlights of Raw and SmackDown before, when Bruce Pritchard and Vince McMahon was running things. And man, Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens looked like clowns, like stupid clowns. And this is completely different under Triple H, man. Attitude Era 2.0, man. Fucking great. So they were going back and forth on the mic, and basically Kevin Owens was telling Drew, like, how dare you say that you're the man, that you've been carrying the company over your shoulders and this and that he was going back to how he was known as the prize fighter, and he was getting ready to go after any championship, tag team titles, intercontinental, US, the ultimate undisputed title. And I like the fact they're saying the undisputed title. I like that. I remember Vince, it was one of those words that they couldn't say. They couldn't say title, they couldn't say belt. They could only say the Universal Championship, which was, I don't know, I guess it was a pet peeve of him. Man, Vince McMahon was, oh God, whatever. But I like that they're going back and forth, and then like Kevin Owens like hits him with like these truth bombs, and I love the fact that Drew McIntyre just hits him right back with a whole bunch of shit. Like he's like, yeah, I've been in this company for 12 years, and then I got fired. I didn't call WWE. WWE called me. I was like, damn, bro, like super fire. And then at the end when he's like, I don't care if you're a sports entertainer or a WWE superstar. We're wrestlers and we're in the ring, so let's freaking wrestle. I was like, damn. And that's another thing. They weren't able to say wrestlers. You couldn't say wrestlers. Ooh. So now Triple H has lifted that up, and this match woke me the fuck up. This whole segment, the whole back and forth, man, dude, it's like I remember before when I was like, like they can't make stars anymore. WWE couldn't make stars, couldn't make the Rock. Like if the Rock, Stone Cold, Undertaker, Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels, and all these people were coming out now under the rule of Vince McMahon, they wouldn't exist. They would have not have gotten their breaks because they were at a different time where Vince McMahon was like, just do your thing, do it like what Triple H is doing. So it's amazing, and these guys are future Hall of Famers in my book, man. Wow, this match was great. It was going back and forth. I wanted to see more. The only thing is that somebody had to win, and I didn't want either of the guys to lose. But it was a good thing because close to the end of the match, the Usos came out and then started beating the crap out of Drew. So they started beating him up, and it was a disqualification, and Kevin Owens was beat up, and then he basically did his thing where he hid behind the ring, and Drew was getting the upper hand on them, and the moment he came back in the ring to celebrate, Kevin Owens came out and did the fucking stunner, and he got Drew. So I actually wasn't upset by that. I was like, damn, okay, yeah, because Kevin Owens is a G. Super straight up. So he did the stunner, the stunner KO. That's what I'm gonna call it. The stunner KO, stunner knockout. So, and he left. Actually, before he left, he went to the Usos and he goes, "Tell your boss that he owes me one," which is weird to say. I don't know. Maybe because he got Drew McIntyre down. I don't know. But the Usos came back in ready to do the 1D on Drew, and I was like, damn, they're gonna sneak another one in, but Drew got the upper hand and dispatched the Usos, so that's pretty cool. And then he said at the end, tell your boss that I'll see him on SmackDown. So Roman Reigns is gonna be on SmackDown this week. So yeah, that was fun. It was great. Man, it was awesome. Now this next part I saw was basically a squash match. Another squash match. I don't know. Triple H is doing a lot of squash matches. I mean, was this how it was before he took ownership, or not ownership, but he took over creative? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, it was just a squash match. But this dude, Veer, I mean, I like the way he fought. I mean, he was super high flying. He kind of reminded me of an Indian version of Umaga. I mean, he was really good. He did like this splash where he just jumped up and he just killed this dude. Like his name is Bo Keller. I mean, yeah, man, he got destroyed. And this guy, this jobber, was just like, he was like running around. He was like, oh hey, yeah, I got one. And then he just it was hilarious. I liked it. And then Corey Graves. I mean, Corey Graves. I think these matches are booked as like as like something to pass the time, and also to let Corey Graves and everybody else like do their thing on commentary. So it makes it a lot better, actually. So it was a squash match. Nothing to talk about really here. Veer won, and it was good. So now this next part, this is what I find a little weird here. Bobby Lashley and AJ Styles for the U.S. title. It was weird because this match was great. It was good. It was really good. Not as good as Drew and Kevin Owens, I will admit that, but it's still just as fun. And it could have been a main eventer. So I don't understand why they decided to put this basically in the middle of Raw. I mean, it was really awkward. So I remember. They were like showing them working out and stuff. Oh, that's next. And they're like, Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, that is next. And I'm like, next? I'm like, what time is it? And it was 9:55. And I was so confused. I was like, whoa, they don't have enough time for this. Raw's already ending. But then I completely forgot. I realized that it's 3 hours, so it ends at 11, not 10. So I was like, what? This is weird. Okay, sure, I guess. So they put it basically in the middle of the show, and the match. It was good to see AJ and Bobby. You know, Bobby's solid, man. He's a solid guy. It was a fun match to see, but there were some moments I noticed in the match where it felt a little awkward looking at AJ and Bobby, because they were trying to do some moves, and then some of them were like prepping themselves, waiting, or it looked like they were calling it in the ring, which is actually I prefer, which is pretty cool. So I guess it made it look more real. But yeah, it was a little bit rusty, but then later on it started to get better. And then The Miz and Ciampa came out. I guess just to remind people, is like, look, these guys are still there. Remember AJ, they're all connected, and so. But I mean, it wasn't necessary. But yeah, they were trying to get to AJ. And there was a moment where Bobby Lashley threw AJ out of the ring, and then he was being distracted by Ciampa and the referee, and then The Miz was getting ready to pummel him, and then out of nowhere on the side of the corner, Dexter Lumis shows up. Okay, he shows up, and I actually noticed this, where basically as he was showing up, he stopped himself from getting over the barricade, right? And the security guards, it was like a slight second, but the security guards were waiting for him to jump over. So it was funny. It was like a little Easter egg spoof, but I like the idea. So he came over, and it looked like he was gunning for somebody. I have no idea what the hell is going on, but this is the second time he showed up in an AJ Styles match. So it looks like he's gunning for AJ. So it's really weird. And then the security guards were holding him. It looked looked realistic, so it was pretty cool. And also, by the way, when it comes to Dexter Lumis, there were a whole bunch of signs throughout the show. I mean, there were moments where when Drew McIntyre was coming in, there was a trash can on fire right next to him, and he was looking and he was like, what the hell? And then even before that, there was a segment with Austin Theory and Dolph Ziggler where it bled into like a sort of like a brawl. Triple H, he loves his brawls, and out of the brawl, you see a hand like in the background of the door. It looks like someone was trying to get in. I didn't really notice until I started looking online, and they're like, look at that hand. They were saying a lot that it was Bray Wyatt, but no, it looked a lot like Dexter Lumis's hand with the glove. It didn't look supernatural to me. But yeah, he was all over, and then they took him out, but not before him like falling all over Corey Graves and the commentators. That was great. That was a lot of fun. And then they went to commercial abruptly. I like that. It was like something like, holy shit, like cut. So it was pretty cool. And then they went back to the match, and they kept going. When they went back to the match, they did like a run by, like a rewind, and Bobby Lashley basically speared Miz outside. One of the weakest spears I've ever seen. I mean, Miz, come on, man. And, you gotta take some bumps, man. I mean, that was super soft, King of Soft style, I guess. But I love his heel work. But yeah, okay. And then Ciampa was cast out by the referee, so the match continued. And they were going back and forth, and there was one time in the match where AJ caught him, and he caught him on his shoulders, and he flipped him around, and I was like, damn, that's pretty crazy. A lot of people say that it looked kind of weird. I I didn't think it looked weird at all. It was just a guy who was trying to do anything he possibly could to become champion, and it was awesome. So he did that, and then he was getting ready for his elbow, and while he was getting ready for his elbow, he got speared, and then Bobby Lashley pins him 1, 2, 3, and I had fun. That was a fun match. Didn't really. I didn't really. I wasn't turned off by this time. It's like after the Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens thing, everything got better. It started to get better, and then after that came Dana Brooke and Dakota Kai, and I was just like, okay, sure. Dakota Kai, really good. And Dana Brooke, I give Dana Brooke props because she's apparently behind the scenes. She's always there. She's always on time, and she really wants to be that kind of wrestler. Wants to be one of the best. So I give her the respect for that. But yeah, not. I don't know. I wasn't. It went up here and then it just went down. Started going down a little bit. And then they had an interview. Dakota Kai was talking about the match, and then she saw Dana Brooke, and then they were talking to each other. Yeah, and Dakota Kai was basically dominating this match. It was basically a squash. So she beat Dana Brooke 1, 2, 3, and that was it. So. And then the next match I wanted to talk about was Austin Theory and Dolph Ziggler. Now I mean. I'm a huge fan of Austin Theory. Austin Theory has great potential to be a great heel. I mean, he has that smug look, and when he talks on the mic, super suave. I mean, he's really good. He's really great. I can't wait to see what Triple H does with Theory, because this is perfect, actually, because apparently Austin Theory, after he won Money in the Bank, he hasn't won a single match, or he hasn't had a match, or that's what I'm hearing, that I like the fact that on this night, Triple H made a statement with Theory, basically stating, Theory, look, he's not all fluff, he can wrestle, and he just beat one of the best. You know what I mean? So this match, Theory versus Dolph Ziggler, it was a good match. Theory is great. Ziggler, always great. Although I will say, I understand why they did it, so they can make Theory look like a leading guy. But Dolph Ziggler, Ziggler keeps getting like the ass end of the job, man. I mean, I don't know how they're gonna turn him around. He just keeps losing, and it's just really annoying. But before this match, they had Theory was doing an interview, and he was talking about the Money in the Bank, of when he was gonna cash it. And then Dolph Ziggler comes in and talks about how he's such a smug little shit, and that he doesn't appreciate what he has, and then Theory throws it back at Ziggler, saying that he's not gonna screw up his career like how Ziggler did to himself, and it was great stuff, like really good. So now the match came out, and as the bell rung, they took each other down. They started fighting, and then Ziggler they started doing a little bit of wrestling on the ground. It wasn't bad. It was pretty good. And then Theory came out, and then there were some moments where Theory knocked his ass out. He did like a back elbow. It was pretty brutal. And then Ziggler came back, and then he did the DDT, and then he did the zigzag, and then of course Theory kicked out of the zigzag, and then it was pretty fast. I liked nobody looked pathetic in the match. Nobody looked too weak. I like the fact that Theory looked like he had the upper hand, and then Ziggler was being like, that veteran that could almost do it, but couldn't really hack it. So they had several 2 counts back and forth until the end, and then basically Theory hit his finisher and pinned him 1, 2, 3, and Theory won the match. So, and he looked good doing it. So it was good. It was good for weeks straight. WWE has been making great stuff. It's just that this Raw was okay. It wasn't as good as last week's Raw or the week before. It's kind of going a bit SmackDown. So I gave Raw a review of 8 out of 10 last week. So this one is more like a 7. Yeah, like a 7 out of 10. Still above, still was good, but not as exciting. I mean, honestly, the reason why this show was held up by Drew KO and AJ and Bobby, really, because this show tonight, the writing was the creative was a little bit weird, and also, like I said before, they put Austin Theory and Dolph Ziggler as the main event. I was like, what? Why? A championship match? That's not a main event. It was awkward. So 7 out of 10 for me. I'm gonna watch SmackDown. I'm really digging. I'm starting to dig SmackDown now because of Gunther. I love Gunther. That match, Gunther and Shinsuke Nakamura last week, which was amazing. It was great. I couldn't get a review out for that, but that SmackDown real quick review. That match was great. So that was like a 7.5 out of 10. So 7 for Raw. This week. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it's a 7 out of 10? Let me know in the comment section. And you guys take care and enjoy the rest of your day. All right. Peace.